Max Verstappen gave us another brilliant show at the Nürburgring as he dazzled with brave overtakes and bold driving during the 24 hours qualifiers race. Although car issues prevented Verstappen Racing from getting a top result today, there were plenty of highlights and must-see action from the four-time world champion, and you're in the perfect place to catch up on all of that. So let's get into the full recap of today's action from Race 2 at the Nürburgring. As qualifying got underway for Race 2, it was a dark and gloomy scene at the Nürburgring both literally and figuratively. But the brave drivers got on with it as track conditions were wet and cold. The first qualifying session was more of a free practice for the top runners. Max Verstappen went out and he did go P1 momentarily when he set a time of an 8:27.1, but this session wasn't about the fastest times. The number 3 Mercedes boxed after that and didn't return to the track in order to save tires for top qualifying. For top qualifying, which is the session that sets the grid for the race, only one driver can set the laps, so it was Lucas Auer in the car for Team Verstappen Racing. He managed a time of an 8:13.3, which put his number 3 Mercedes in P5, and that is where they will start Race 2 for the Nürburgring 24-hour Qualifiers. Before we could go racing for the Nürburgring 24-hour Qualifiers, a moment of silence was held on the grid for the late Juha Mittinen, who passed away yesterday during race number 1. The drivers had to quickly refocus and get ready for race number 2 around the unforgiving Nordschleife. Race conditions were absolutely perfect though, as the green light was a go, and Max Verstappen in the number 3 Mercedes wasted no time in making up places. He positioned his car well to slip into 4th after turn 1, while the drivers ahead of him exchanged places for the lead. But it was lap 2 where Verstappen showed his absolute brilliance. He moved up into P3 by passing the Porsche, and then pulled off a stellar overtake for second place in which he wasn't backing down. In typical Verstappen fashion, he muscled his way ahead and now had his sights set on P1. That meant it was Chapter 2 of Max Verstappen versus Christopher Haase. The Mercedes and Audi battle reached its climax on the 4th lap when Verstappen made his move for the lead of the race. He overtook Haase in a straightforward move, and Verstappen was now first after starting the race in 5th. But Haase came back against Max on the next lap as he made an attempt to pass on the back straight, but Verstappen wasn't giving it up that easy and shut the door on that attempt. The Verstappen-Haase battle continued for multiple laps, and even on the Grand Prix circuit where they went side by side, but the 4-time world champion was not giving an inch. It was lap 7 when the number 3 Mercedes boxed for fuel, but there was no driver change. With the earlier stop, Verstappen eventually retook the lead and settled into the race where he built himself a nice cushion. Verstappen grew his lead of the number 3 Mercedes to over 32 seconds by lap 10 when he returned to the pits once again. However, this time, the Mercedes was pushed back into the garage, and this did not look like a typical pit stop. With the driver change completed, repairs went underway at the front end of the Mercedes-AMG GT3 as there was front splitter damage on the car and a hole in the front end. Verstappen Racing spokesperson revealed they took the car into the garage as a precautionary measure before something worse would happen. After over 20 minutes stuck in the pits, the number 3 Mercedes Verstappen Racing returned to the track in the hands of Lucas Auer, but by that time, they had lost the lead and also lost any chance at a top result. Speaking after stepping out of the car, Verstappen said he wasn't sure where he picked up the damage from as he didn't hit anything, so the team will need to analyze where things went wrong. It was quite unfortunate luck for the team after the lead Verstappen had built up and the pace that the number 3 Mercedes was showing. Auer's stint in the car to finish the race was all about just getting experience ahead of the 24-hour race in May. Auer eventually finished the race in P39 and was over 4 minutes behind the race winners, which were the number 16 Audi team. Despite the problems, Verstappen still came away with some positives for himself as he felt good during his stint in the car and he at least managed to get a lot of laps in. Next up then is the big one. The 24 hours of Nürburgring will be taking place in less than a month's time, as this weekend was the final preparation before the big event. Thanks for watching today's video, and be sure to leave a comment about your thoughts on today's race. Follow and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more Verstappen GT3 racing coverage.